Boom. Okay, we at the Pink Couch podcast. We're at Dazed Cannabis. Oh, I'm back home. I'm back in Holyoke. Last podcast, we actually went to Monson. Before that, I was in New York. You know, Dazed got different dispensaries now. And I want to say, you know, it's gonna keep growing. Eventually, man, my wish is I can't wait till we have Dazed in Puerto Rico. Eso es pronto, eso viene por ahí. Pero right now, we're at Dazed Cannabis, 56 Jackson Street, Holyoke, Mass. My house, my second home. Literally, my house. I was raised 3 blocks from here, South Holyoke. This is South Holyoke. Don't get it wrong. Nothing's going to happen to you in South Holyoke. Those are myths. You could come right up the highway, come here, get, you know, the right flowers, get right, get up there, and then go back home. Tranquilo. Dazed Cannabis, 56 Jackson Street, Holyoke, Mass. I'm excited. I got somebody here with me that I've been dying literally to get on the podcast. Young guy, very young, but yo, this guy is smart, a genius, and I got a lot of respect for him. I got a lot of love, and I look up to him. Even though he's 18 years younger than me, I look up to this guy. And you know, and we got him right here, Avery On The Beat, young legend, bro, young legend.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
How you doing? You doing great? I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. You know, just rolled up out of bed, man. Afternoon, real quick. I had to come over here, man, chop it up with you.
I see you. I see you. I mean, I want to say you're a busy guy because it took a while for me to get you here because I know you got a lot going on and thank you to Mass Double.
Of course,
that's like that's your family, right? That's your brother right there.
Absolutely.
He's always giving a good name for you. Like he's always. And every studio we go to, he's always mentions you, and that's good money. Seems like you're a good guy, man. Everybody talks about you in a good way.
Oh, God bless, God bless. Yeah, I hope so. You know.
What brings you to music? And that's the first question I got.
What brings me to music? That's a very interesting one because I started making music when I was 8 years old. So I remember I was 8 years old and I was playing the guitar for a little while. I think I was listening to some classic shit, you know, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
Oh, I love Pink Floyd.
Van Halen, you know, and I was like, I want to try this. So I remember my grandmother had linked me in with guitar lessons when I was a kid, and I started playing around with the guitar. I got pretty decent at it, but one day my aunt had brought me over to her boyfriend's house, who she just met at the time, and he had a home studio set up.
Okay.
So, you know, it was a set of some monitors and some Korg Triton stuff, some MPCs, and a lot of the hardware that not a lot of people know now.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was a big deal, you know. And he said, you know what? You play the guitar, right? I said, yeah. Well, there's this new software. It's called Fruity Loops.
Oh.
And it just came out a few years ago. Everybody's tweaking with it, but if you learn this software, you're going to be able to play any instrument, do anything inside of the software without playing the actual instrument. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I plugged the guitar up and I started clicking in FL Studio. And at this point, it wasn't even as developed as it is now. You know, it was just pattern blocks. It was like a toy to me.
What was it? FL Studio what? Which one?
6.
Okay.
So pattern blocks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I played around with it, but it stuck in my head, you know. And then, fast forward a little bit, after dabbling with it, when I was in middle school, I remember I was in school at Van Sickle in Springfield, right? It was middle school before it got shut down.
Okay.
Kids were banging on desks and rapping. So a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, I think I can make beats.
You felt that already, right there on the spot.
Yeah. Because I was like, I mean, might as well, right? I got nothing else to do. So I ended up burning some beats to a CD, and this is probably 2011, 2012. CDs still kind of were there.
Yeah.
And I would sling them at the lunch table. And I always had positive affirmations from it, even if they were small. I never really heard, any hate. Like,
no.
Oh, you think you can make beats? Oh, yeah, okay, boo, boo, boo. It was kind of like, all right.
You're good from the start.
Yeah, so just because of the positive affirmations I got, every single time I was like, I guess I'm going to do this because a lot of positivity in my life came through that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's how you met probably a lot of friends that you still got to this day. Your first beat that you, did anybody teach you how to make FL Studio or was it just on your own?
So my aunt's boyfriend at the time, he did. He showed me the software, but I kept in contact with him because any question I asked him, he was enthused to tell me, to show me everything.
Oh, okay.
And I started coming around his house more instead. And that's what we did all day.
That's
is
what's up.
Make beats. And back then, if people don't know, making beats was not a 20-minute process like now.
Not now it is.
I
yeah.
mean, FL wasn't as developed, so the idea of making beats back then was you would sequence your instruments on your Korg Triton or your ASR 10 or whatever. Then you would go into an MP after laying the melodies into the MP, lay the drums, and you would basically use Pro Tools as a tape machine or as a playback so you could print your stems. That's called laying the beat.
Oh.
So a beat could take a day.
Yeah.
You know, we just left the tape era not even 10 years before that, right? Because recording was never always Pro Tools. Pro Tools came out in 91, but it wasn't stable enough for like the home consumer with the M boxes and things like that till like 02.
Yeah, I remember Pro Tools. I mean, when
Pro Tools LE with the
with the little blue box.
with the Digidesign
Yeah.
box. Yeah, that's what I learned on. Was an M box too.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man, and then that, from there, so I kind of learned some of the analog way, and I learned the digital way.
So you've been around this because of him. You know,
Yeah.
your mother's. Before that, you had
my aunt's boyfriend.
your
yeah.
aunt's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Before that, you had any interest on making beats at all? It was just because it happened to be there.
Well, not
and
directly.
And there was not phones back then. Like, we're not talking about you can make beats on your phone either,
No.
or no?
No, it was like I loved DMX a lot as a kid. Eminem,
DMX.
Tupac, Biggie, Nas. I mean, Chief Keef had just came out
Okay.
at that time. And Chief Keef, if you pay attention to his albums, at that time, trap music went from the crunk era
Crunk, yeah, I
from
remember.
Young Jock, Lil Jon, Jermaine Dupri and his people to trap, which was what? Waka Flocka, Chief Keef, the Chicago drill scene, and then you heard more producer tags.
Okay.
You heard Lex Luger, you heard Young Chop on the beat, so you started to hear the producers get shine.
Yeah, that's the era of the producer era.
Yeah, the early 2010s, and so I started to do my research on who these people were.
And I want to
Yeah.
say YouTube had something to do with that era.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Because YouTube, everybody, there was a time, I come from a time way before, I'm 40, where
Right.
it was hard to find someone to make you a beat. Or it was hard to find a beat. You would have to like buy a record with whatever rapper, and use like Nas and use his beats on a record for us to make songs. We didn't have producers around. Now, there's producers, YouTube, everywhere. Everyone.
Yep.
You know, everyone's making beats.
Exactly. You
So-
know what? I started selling my beats on SoundClick.
SoundClick. Yeah, it's another one. SoundClick.
People don't know about that now.
Yeah, nah.
Rock Battle,
Yeah.
PMP Worldwide, Taxi.
I bought some beats
Yeah.
on SoundClick. Yeah.
We all did, man. That was
Yeah.
a time. And it was so interesting because there was only Vibe Beats
yeah.
and who else? There's a couple. Johnny Giuliano. He was huge.
Yeah, I remember all those. Yeah, and I'm sure all those. I mean, not all of them, but some probably. Because
Yeah.
this is where you come in, and this is
Right.
what makes it a difference. You learn the business.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't learn the business, and they get lost in the. YouTube is cool, but I heard something you said on a podcast I was watching, and you said, "Oh, this is not a talent show." Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Oh, that stuck with me." I'm like, "Yeah, this ain't no talent show."
Exactly.
You got to know the business, and you've learned the business.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? You started traveling or something?
So when I was about 15 and I had been doing it and just doing it creatively, I met a artist named King Inc.
Okay.
King Inc., or he goes by Lenny now. So
From the area here, or
in the surrounding area, Chicopee, Springfield,
Okay.
Holyoke.
okay?
So my aunt had went to high school with him, and he was one of her friends. So she had brought it up to me that, oh, my friend Lenny is an artist, and I was about 14, 15.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, I had sent him beats on the internet. We were from the same area, but I was in my bedroom making beats. He was
Yeah.
really one of the first people to hop on my beat, and we were just running through tracks, and he was like, yo, you know, I'm going to a studio. Send me some stuff. Well, he was working with a producer named SK.
Okay.
At the time. So SK is the first producer I met from this area that had industry credibility.
Yeah.
SK is about 10 years older than me. And he did records for Soulja Boy at the time, Chief Keef, Sean Kingston,
that's dope.
Rich the Kid. And I wanted to study him because I'm like, how the hell are you getting these beats to these people?
Yeah.
You know? Well, he didn't know I was only 15 at the time. But when he found that out, he was like, for real? He was like, yo, pull up. So I became a sponge, and I'd watch SK's process, right? Because he was very imperfect when it came to his beats. He said, just make 10 beats a day, whether you like them or not.
Oh, that's
If you start yourself on speed and efficiency, then you won't feel like you're rushing eventually, and then that will be your speed.
Oh, wow.
And he gave me Soulja Boy's email in the elevator going down from his studio on Main Street, where Max is at.
I'm Max Davis.
In that same building, it was in that elevator.
Oh, wow.
That freight elevator,
Yeah, scary elevator. We've all been there. I'd rather take the stairs.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Soulja Boy was the first major artist I worked with after
wow.
that. A week
And he was
later,
already popping after, Soulja Boy, the song that got him.
I think culturally, yeah.
Yeah.
Because credibility is credibility, and even though it wasn't hitting Billboard, I had no concept of that yet.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, if my beats are good enough for him to use them, then what am I doing? Because then he would hit me and be like, yo, I got people pulling up. You should send me some beats. Sean Kingston would be at the house. Then he had cut to one of my beats that year. Then new rappers at the time like Trill Sammy, who was hot in 2016, he had a song called Uber Everywhere.
Yeah.
He hopped on my beat. Then you had...
dope.
So now I
do know you've worked with some artists. I didn't know it was like this, that it happened through email. See, through email people,
Email.
You actually
Twitter and email at the time.
A lot of people just because I do a lot of I do tutorials and I teach people how to like a lot of followers, they're like starting up, they don't have like the right equipment, and I tell them, you could just make it happen with whatever you got until you get what you want. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just make it happen. And a lot of things I tell them is you got to network. Network is like the key. You don't sit there and wait for people to just come to you. Sometimes you got to go out there and get it. You know what I mean? And you're talking about exactly that right there. You're out there, emailing.
Every day.
Yeah, you're not just making a beat, putting it on YouTube, hoping somebody hits you up.
I did that the same time.
It's not. It's you did it at the same time too, but
also, like those Soulja Boy records came out. That was cool, but I had to figure out what was next because I'm like, now what? So
at this time, quick, don't mind to cut you off, but are you making money off this music at this time?
Not really.
Nah, it was
not
just
really.
Still for you're still getting in there.
Yeah, like I'm on to something.
Yeah, okay.
And this is the turning point. SK had broke his arm playing ball one day.
Yeah.
Comes to my house. He said, Joe, do you know how to use Pro Tools? No. I'm going to give you a copy of it. I'm going to show you my settings. I want you to cut vocals for our artists at the time. I was in a group called Filth Town.
Okay.
It was Rick Lauren, Joe Schmo, Petey, Cavalier, Honcho, Lil Chris.
Local people?
Local people.
Petey,
Filth Town.
is it Pablo or Petey? You mentioned Petey. No.
Petey, no, not Petey Pablo.
Oh, okay.
Petey was just a guy in the crew that we were working with.
Because I know Petey, not Pablo, the famous guy, but from around the area that does
I know
video.
Of who you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool.
And but no, it was just a crew of us. We had a song out called Snooty back then.
Okay.
And the city was rocking to it, so records were in demand. So when SK couldn't record, he would have me record the sessions, and I would send it to him to mix.
Oh, okay.
So because I had prior knowledge of FL Studio and the workflow, I learned Pro Tools really fast.
Yeah, and especially you were just recording, but now you mix and do you master? Or
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this guy, local genius, and I'm very myself. I want to say I'm glad that I'm documenting this right now.
Yeah.
Because I know where you're headed. I know where you're headed. I could tell. I see it. And I've been telling this guy forever. I'm like, yo, get me sitting down with this guy because I'm at heart, I'm an engineer. I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I make music. I rap.
Right.
I'm a rapper, 100%. I could rap my ass off.
Yeah.
But life has taken me where I posted some videos and I went viral for making comedy. And I guess I'm a funny guy and I love comedy. It's my passion, to be honest with you. But I look up to people that do what I would love to do and are doing great in it.
Yeah.
And especially from my area, bro. I see you with the platinum records and all that. Bro, very proud of you. What's your, do you consider your biggest achievement right now?
I think being able to navigate the ecosystem of the music industry in a real sense.
Yeah.
Like when I was, after all this, my source of income was engineering.
Okay.
Because even though I wasn't that great, I wasn't bad, and my way of getting local artists on my beats and getting my name out there was saying, I got these beats, pull up, let's record.
Let's record, yeah.
My house was never empty.
Yeah.
My house was never empty. My brain was never sleeping. When I was done with my day sessions at my house and my grandma was like, all right, turn the music down by 11, I'm at Dub and Dom's spot at YNL in on Maple Street. Right?
Also, right after your mom or your grandma.
11 p.m. strikes. I'm in there till 6 in the morning on a Monday, Tuesday, skipping school.
That's that grind.
Man, and it was really fulfilling because that's the time frame where it's pure.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that you just feel good, you know, and that's beautiful, man. But people don't honor that stage much. They say, I gotta get out, I gotta go, I gotta do. Like, embrace that, because that's when it's really sentimental.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and like a lot of my music,
You know?
like I tell this guy, like I'm starting to release music now because long story short, I was holding back on my music for a while until I had a spiritual awakening. But a lot of my music that I recorded, I can tell they have some feeling to it because I recorded them at a very probably dark time, emotionally going through stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the time to release them now because I might not relate to them now, but at one point I was going through something that somebody else out there might relate to it.
Yeah.
And I recorded them bro, like the song that we did, I got a song that we did a video to, it's talking about how I didn't have no electricity in my house. At that point, I really did not have electricity in my house. And, you know, and I said that in the song, you know, and thank God, you know, things are going better now.
Yeah.
But, you know, I enjoyed every moment of it. We were making videos and I had no electricity in my house.
Right.
Yeah? I was still enjoying it. You know, I wasn't there like, oh man, this ain't working.
It's like that.
You have to make it work.
It's like that.
You know what I mean, right? So,
yeah.
But that's I'm very happy right now. You living off of this? You live off. And
I've never worked a 9-to-5 job, even when I wanted to.
Oh, even when you wanted to?
Crazy. So
that's dope.
When I was engineering, I was making at least probably $100 a day.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's okay because I figured people might make that at their job. So I was going to school and I was recording when I got home, and I'll make more money staying home.
Doing something you love.
Right. And if you don't know, I got cerebral palsy. So keep in mind, that's why I got the limp.
Okay.
So my muscles are very tight.
Okay.
So I can't really stand up for more than about 10 minutes at a time.
Okay.
So walking through school all day, they're telling me the same thing they're telling everybody else. Go get good grades, go to college, get a good job. I said, but everything in this world that y'all are wanting me to join is hard for me. That's why they call you disabled, right?
Yeah.
Because what's set out for you by default is not planned correctly. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, my grandmother that raised me, she's old school. It's my great-grandmother. She's 77 right now.
Bless.
And she never believed in that there's a pill for everything. She never believed that there was a coddle thing for everything. She always said, man, do what makes you happy. I don't care what it is. I don't care if I love it or despise it. It is your life. I recommend you do whatever the fuck makes you happy by any means, because you only live one time.
Yeah.
You know? I said, all right. So I went to my guidance counselor. She had told me if I drop out of high school, statistically I'll make this much, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said, cool. How much debt are you in?
It's all.
What? How much debt are you in?
Yeah.
Well, that's not important. It's not about the money. I said, no, it is, because if I pay my bills, how I be a loser?
Yeah.
Well, you see, what's your backup plan? I said, death.
Yeah.
Because I said, what is my purpose? Everything else is harder for me except for this, and I get affirmations from this. I'm not going to appease people like you that drive a shitty car like everybody else, and that you're going to tell me how to live, but I can only reach as far as you've reached if I follow your advice.
Yeah.
So, God bless you doing your job, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
And that's what I chose to do, was drop out of high school. And,
it worked.
It was this is my lane. This is what I know how to do.
Yeah, this is because I feel like, and I mean, you know, everybody for its own, but school, and I tell this to my son. I got my son's 18, and I got a 21-year-old too.
Yeah,
and school, I feel like it's made to box you into a certain way of thinking.
Mentally,
some of us have the capability to think outside of that box. You know what I mean? And those people inside that box that can't think out, they're probably looking at us like, what are you guys doing? You're supposed to be in this box. Nah, bro. We know how to work outside this box. You know what I mean? And you guys got to respect this. And the way we respect you guys, you know?
The whole thing about it, though, is they're afraid to tell the wrong person that, so then they go fuck off.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, everything is programming.
Yeah.
You know, you're programmed that way because that's what worked for 300 some years somehow.
Yeah.
And this is what we all spawned here because of our parents, you know. Now we're here. All right? And there comes a point where there's an accountability thing. They're like, okay, yeah, you don't want to be here. You don't want to do, but do you have anything better to do? And that's an initiative you have to take for yourself, and you also have to know the risks and the rewards.
Yeah.
But the schools just don't want to be responsible for saying, all right, leave. Because, you know, I'm not saying I don't recommend it theoretically, but I recommend it based off your circumstances and who you are. You reach a rock bottom that you don't give a fuck because nothing can be worse. And that's the best thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
Because you have nothing that is giving you those affirmations outside of, let's say, music or comedy or whichever. And keep in mind, the only reason we're driven to do either music, comedy, or anything else is because that's what's giving us our satisfaction. So if I decided to stop producing tomorrow, that's fine if I'm getting the same love from something else.
Yeah, like me personally, like with the whole I went to school. I graduated. I got my GED. I went to college, and I got some. But it was because I was kind of programmed, but I wanted to do what I love to do.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a nice regular job. I worked, you know, in the community. I was like a social, like not, I don't want to say counselor, but it was like I work with kids.
Like a big brother.
Yeah, something like that. And I was making good money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what I loved. And something was telling me, bro, you know, do what you want to do. The pandemic came. I lost my job. And I'm like, I got to do what I love. And thank God I'm doing what I love. And I'm actually making more money than I was when I was working that I went to college for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I'm doing what I love. I should have done this 15 years ago and just not try to go to college and all that.
You could say that, but you need to check the boxes off for yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't penalize yourself for shit you don't know.
Yeah, I experienced it. So that's why what you're saying, what you believe, is from my own experience. I believe it, and I tell my kids. And a lot of people tell me, oh, you're crazy. Vaya. A lot of people tell me, oh, you're crazy for giving that advice to your kids about college. I'm like, hey, bro, it's from my own experience.
Because they fear what they don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I've experienced it, and I know what my kids are capable of. And like my son right now, he's about to finish high school. And if he goes into college, they're probably going to force him to do something that he wasn't put on this earth to do. I know what he's capable of doing, and I'm like, you're gonna do what I know you're capable of doing, and you're gonna grow on that.
Yep.
And I'm right behind you. You know, I support
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And also, you know, exactly. It took me to drop out of high school to do what I was doing, for me to decide, you know what, I have nothing to do. I'll go get the GED. Why not?
Yeah.
It took me 6 months. Got it.
Yeah.
I committed to it. Then I went to college. I went for business administration.
Yeah.
That was cool. I liked the environment. I didn't like the way the financial aid office was and all the bombarding of paperwork, but it took for me to check that off too, because
so
you know, as a man, I think when it's time to do something, we will get it done.
Yeah.
But I also think that, you know, we have to have our own reasons, and that's super important to find yourself. So, and then also it's like in college, man, they'll really quickly give you a student loan, but you've never seen $50,000, $100,000 in cash.
No,
if they put that money on a suitcase on a table, bro, and they said, you're going to pay this back to me. What?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We can't even conceptualize that, because when you give somebody cash, right, it's harder. You visualize that money.
Yeah.
You know the value of that dollar that you're holding, right? And you give it away. When you have a credit card, a credit line, a loan, invisible money.
Invisible money.
That's not affecting you right now.
Yeah. It's like that's why the casino gives you chips. Because
That's why the clocks aren't there. That's
Yeah.
why the alcohol is flowing.
Yeah.
Come on now. But here's the thing. They never sat each person down and said, what do you want to do in the next 5 to 10 years? And also, you know, the reason for going to college has turned into guilt trips instead of facts.
Yeah.
People are guilt tripped for the applauses of their peers and parents.
Yeah,
you're
100%.
going to college.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point. People signing record deals. They want to get signed to get the applause. They want to show up at the label office to open the bottle to say they signed a deal, so they're successful because they signed a piece of paper.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All this stuff between college and record labels are so strikingly similar. It's
100%.
uncanny because you committed to something. It's an agreement. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The culture of things have blown it up to be.
I experienced that too. I experienced the whole signing to a label and all that. So I know exactly what you're saying.
It's just an agreement with a company.
That's 100%.
And you
come back home and you're like, okay, what just happened?
What just happened? And
what now?
the whole shit is like, it's the same thing. Let's fast forward. I was making beats in the crib as usual, and there was an executive at Sony that was posting on Instagram that she needed beats. Her name was Maria.
Yeah.
Maria was the VP of A&R at Columbia Records at the time, vice president of A&R, which would find talent, scout, and sign new talent. So Maria had been getting beats from me in this email for 6 months every day. New beats. And I started to watch this music executive go live, Cash Johns. He started talking every morning about habits and things like that. He started talking about the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
And told me about how you should.
So you were studying this. You're studying these people and everything.
There was nobody in my circle or my feasible range that could show me anything I didn't already do.
That's where I'm at. And my circle, I'm that guy that's breaking rocks. Oh, like right now, I released a movie. Nobody around here has released a movie. We released a movie in Puerto Rico in the movie theaters.
It's amazing.
You know how hard that was? But now I could turn back and tell people, hey, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? So I've done a lot of that. And
that's how you do it.
That's how,
That's how you do it.
And
exactly.
you're that guy too. And
Likewise.
I respect that. And I see that. Who do you look up to as a producer? What's your favorite producer?
Ooh, shit.
Like if you had one producer, just say one.
Trackmasters.
What is it?
Trackmasters.
Trackmasters. Okay, I hear you.
Poke and Tone.
Yeah. Okay, so you went.
You're talking about.
That's what year is that? Like Trackmasters.
90s.
90s. Oh damn.
You're talking about.
Name one. So
If I Rule the World by Nas.
Oh, okay. The boomba, rap.
You're talking about.
Damn, If I Rule the World. I was just listening to yesterday my classic Nas beat. Was it fuck, everybody used to use it. It's probably on my play. Nah,
Nas beat.
Nah.
Is it from
Dun 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 dun.
I'm trying to think. When I think Nas, I think that. I think It Ain't Hard to Tell, and I think Made You Look.
May You Look. Nah, the one I'm talking about is I just Shazammed it yesterday on my phone because I have to look it up.
It's hard.
You gotta know. Because I was recording a song yesterday, and it reminded me of when I was a kid. I used to use this beat a lot. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Let me tap into my old, man, does it erase or does it still look for it? I don't know how to use this. But anyways, we're talking about the 90s, and we're talking about how beats that were made 30 years ago and 20 years ago, they still got magic in them. And Trackmasters, I used to... What's another producer like back from the 90s that you know that?
Shoot, Bink.
Who's that?
Bink.
See, you know a lot. You know your
Bink,
shit, bro.
Bink did like half of the blueprint for Jay-Z.
This is a 23-year-old, right? Yeah. And he's talking about beats that are probably older than you. All right?
Right. Because
That's crazy.
Well, there's Bink. There's Just Blaze.
Just
there's
Blaze. Yeah, I know that.
Ty Fife.
That's how important it is to have like a little tag. Because people like me that really don't know, I could remember Just Blaze because I tag.
You could read the credits too. I read the credits. Yeah, bro.
He knows his shit. Like I bet you he knows something. Can I ask you a random question about?
Let's go.
All right, okay, I can tell. You know Eminem's producer?
Louis Resto?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. So Eminem. So you got Dr. Dre. Like you gotta think Dr. Dre choreographed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But the man who was on his keys was Louis Resto.
Okay.
He played keys on a lot of his stuff. Eminem would make beats, but he would have Louis Resto playing keys. Steve King would be the engineer playing the guitar part. You know, Mike Elizondo, who played bass and did all that.
And these are probably people that are like known behind the scenes,
right?
Not really on camera.
Exactly, because different era, different role, different everything. But every project you'll see from like the Marshall Mathers LP up until like literally a couple years ago has the same list of guys, same studio, same engineers, in-house, everything like that.
That's probably like family. That's like family.
I mean, Eminem's production is probably the craziest point blank of the 2000s. Next to Timbaland, he could compete with Timbaland and Pharrell.
That's
you know, or you put Scott Storch.
That's
if I wanted to see a versus, no, scratch that. Kanye and Pharrell on a versus.
Oh yeah, Kanye and Pharrell.
Production wise,
yeah.
You know, the Neptunes ran like 70% of the urban airplay in 03 to 05.
100%. Yeah, to me, yeah.
I mean, Pharrell was goated after he did Milkshake by Kellis, bro.
Yeah.
Why? Because that beat was so weird and so different. Man,
he was known to do like a lot of. I mean, the Neptunes were known to do like weird. When they had the
stomping and drumming,
did they have to do with the Whisper song? No, they had to.
That you would think that.
Yeah, I would think.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, because
who made the Whisper? I know exactly. Jewels.
Yeah, whoever did that had like. Bro, that song was cool.
You know, but Heatmakers again, two Heatmakers and Ty Fife. And because Ty Fife was doing a lot of Cam stuff on Come Home With Me, Heatmakers was really introduced in that album. Yeah. Heatmakers then went on for Diplomatic Immunity 1, which is probably one of my favorite albums of all time.
Wow, that's crazy. It's amazing to me because how music transcends, you know what I mean? Like right now, if there was a producer alive right now working, not Ye, not, you know, who would you want to work with right now? Just one major producer that you're like, yep, that's one of my goals right there.
Well, he's still alive, but he's older. Clive Davis.
Oh, okay. See, I know that one.
Why is that? Not for the technical music part, but for the insight, for the understanding of what a great record is, for the ear.
Clive Davis, we're talking about, this is the founder of...
This is one of the key players in Whitney Houston's career. A guy who made the music industry what it is today.
That's what I'm saying. But didn't he co-found
he was heavy at
Def Jam or
no? You're thinking of Rick Rubin.
Oh, okay.
And Russell Simmons.
I look up to that guy a lot. Rick Rubin. That's right. The big guy with the white beard.
Yep.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
he's like that.
You kind of like have that vibe. Like you're very, you know your shit. And when you talk, you're very passionate and spiritual about it.
Of course, man, and that's the only way to be, man. Because you know, but here's the difference. Nowadays, producers are like rappers.
Yeah,
we are shining like rappers. We are, which is great.
Yeah,
we are given the same love and the same acknowledgement as rappers from everyday people now. So some people could hop into it and just do it to do it.
Yeah.
But in my time coming up, it was really underground behind the scenes, so I guess that kind of shaped me having to do my research and not having a TikTok showing up and telling me how to do something. You know,
and that's where I come in. I be showing people how to do stuff.
They used to have, I don't know if you had it, the FL Studio Bible.
No,
it was a big book, like 1,000.
Yeah. It looked like a phone book.
Yeah, or Pro Tools for Dummies.
Yeah. You
don't need those.
I used to go
anymore.
to Barnes and Nobles and all that for that type of stuff.
Yo.
Oh, so you're
the
like
DVDs.
Yeah.
Plugins came on DVDs, y'all. You couldn't get the EQs and the compressors without the Bomb Factory DVDs from Avid, bro.
This guy you know your shit, and it's funny because it seems like in your own lane you're opening doors because no one kind of like told you here this is where you have to be. You're like opening doors for whoever's coming behind you.
Absolutely.
And that's dope, bro. 413 in the house.
Yeah.
413 in the house.
Yeah.
And any big major thing that's coming up now, like because mention a couple of rappers to the people that are watching me that you've worked with that are in the industry.
So, okay. The record that put me on was Move On by Lil TJay. That came out in November of 2020 on Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
I was sending beats out to an executive like we were talking about every day for 6 months. She responded to one email and she said, please hold this. Thank you. Now in my head, I'm like, okay, whatever that means.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, she said, can I get your phone number for a FaceTime? I said, yeah. She introduced me herself. Her name was Maria. She was at Columbia Records as the VP of A&R. She's one of the people that were involved in signing Lil TJay. She said, I want this beat. How much do you want for it? Now, she's not at Sony anymore, so I could talk about this.
Yeah.
I said, how about $2,000? She said, let's try to get you at least $5. I said, well, okay. Do you have a manager? No. Do you have a lawyer? No. 1 second. I'm going to call you on my other phone. All right. Look, I got this guy. His name is All Day. He is a former artist at Columbia, but now he's doing a lot of writing. He writes for, Jonas Brothers, Justin Bieber, all these guys. You're going to get offered all these record deals when the song comes out. You produced it. You own half of it on the publishing. Don't sign early. Be careful who you sign to. These people don't know who you are now, and they're in for it because you're charting, and you're going to be on the Billboard charts, and there's income that you don't know how to collect on it.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And that right there, he introduced me to All Day, who I didn't know at the time. He was over at a label called Pulse over in L.A. He was a top 40 pop writer. And I said, why is that important? She's like, the business. A pop record, when you make a pop record, is worth a ton. A rap record is one niche, but a pop writer has a lot of power. So I met with All Day. All Day had said, who do you want to work with next? He's very light spoken. I said, Kevin Gates. Well, okay.
You got your Kevin Gates.
They introduced me to an executive at the time named Angie Pagano, who was the general manager of APG when they were part of Atlantic Records.
Okay.
Mike Karen owns that. And send me a pack for Gates, Avery. I put a pack together of beats I already had ready that I always wanted to give them.
Kevin Gates type beats or something that you already had?
And got picked right away. I was on the project the next month.
Oh, wow.
And the song was called Shit.
Shit?
Only the Generals Part 2.
Literally shit. Like
shit. So then,
yeah.
Wow, I don't have to worry about how to get them out anymore. But All Day signed me, and he introduced me to every person directly, and Jake, our manager.
This is out of where? Atlanta or something?
He's in L.A. at the time. I'm still in Massachusetts, but I'm all on flights traveling to Atlanta in sessions.
Oh, okay.
That's unrelated to the deal. That's unrelated to things. That was just what I was doing, but I had met with him on a Zoom call. And he taught me how to fish, and so did my manager, Jake.
Oh, okay.
He then introduced me to a new guy named PJ Walsh, who at the time was doing bookings and things like that for Carl Lewis Group, which was handling a lot of bookings for Travis Scott and everybody. He was really just helping me with my day-to-day stuff. Like, do you need help with anything, with beats, getting out to people, whatever? Okay. Because Jake had gotten busy. All Day had just wrote the Justin Bieber album, Justice.
Yeah.
And the Hate Being Human album for Chris Brown. So they were busy. So PJ was my day-to-day guy, who I'd grown really fond of, And fast forward to January of the next year, he got a position at Universal Music Group as a A&R at Island.
And that's where...
Yeah. And so now I got people in Island Records, Universal, Atlantic Records, and so I built a relationship with Brian Johnston over there at Atlantic that signed Kevin Gates.
Wow.
And I've met with him at the office a few times, and I really learned the landscape that month. So
you're basically, what it all sounds to me,
it's getting out there.
It's all relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Not connections.
Networking and relationships.
Relationships. And how I can
That's
put
what I'm getting out of this whole conversation with you.
Is like, bring results to other people.
Yeah.
Don't focus on connections. Don't focus on handshakes, man. Bring results to the table, man. Bring positive affirmations to the table when you're in the room, so they know when they call you, it's up.
Yeah.
When you got that phone call from this person, I know that there's something going on. Great.
Whoa, that's deep.
You know, that way, guess what? Even if you're not friends, if Avery called my phone, there's something going on.
Yeah.
And that's producing. Knowing where to pull the right things out of the hat to make a record in its final form. Not clicking a beat that sounds cool. We did that.
Yeah, we did
I
that.
programmed drums. I did all that. I do that now. But if, just we talked about off camera, if you asked me if I made reggaeton beats, said no, because I don't come from that. I don't know it as well. So what do? My first instinct out here is call Max Davies.
Yeah.
Who say I can't sequence a melody and he can't sequence the drums?
Yeah, 100%.
That's producing.
Yeah, but yeah.
You know, putting the best ingredients into the soup, bro. You feel me?
Before we end this conversation, how many minutes we got on there? Man?
Yeah.
On the memory. Oh, 7 minutes. All right, we got like 5 minutes. I just want to get into one thing before we finish this conversation.
Yeah.
And I want your intake on it because my boy Juancito, he gave me his input on this on a podcast we did. What do you think about these? To me, I call them so-called producers, or do you think they are producers? The ones that are using these programs, they search like A minor chord with a one shots, and they put them together, and then they put the drums. And I kid you now, in 40 seconds you got a beat.
Swear to God, I do that too.
Yeah.
Here's the analogy. He could have his opinion. Everyone could have an opinion on the manufacturing, but it's like this. Does it sound good coming out of the speakers or not?
Yeah, that sounds great.
And number two, you got to think of this like a McDonald's.
Yeah.
You got a guy doing the fries, the shakes, the cash register, the McFlurries, everything. Point blank is consistency. So if they call on you to execute something point blank in its final form, the record, did you accomplish that or not? Whether you made the beat, did the drums, made a phone call,
it don't matter.
Did you produce the situation or not?
Ooh, produce the situation.
So that is here
I'm
nor
about
there.
to be a producer after this conversation.
Well, that's what you're doing.
Because I know it's like maybe I'm 100% a producer, but I'm just saying when I see people, because I know how to make a beat from scratch 100%, like the this and that.
You can lay it,
yeah. But when I I went to a studio, bro, and I feel like they were trying to rip me off in Florida. Like, all right, I'm gonna charge you $200 for a beat.
What studio was this?
It's a random kid in his house, and he told me he was a producer.
Yeah.
And when I went to his house, he didn't know how, to me, now I know he knows how to produce a situation.
Yeah.
But before, I'm like, yo, you're not a producer, because he was just putting melodies together. But I was telling him, no, I got this song, and it goes like this. Can you make, and he said, no, I don't know how to do that.
It's a generational thing because it's crafted different.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
But he was making sick beats, though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I once again, about the pricing, you know, like down my credit list, you know, I had the records out. I had the Soulja Boy stuff out, the Sean King stuff out. But when I started to get into TJ, I got the Gates. From there, I got to Polo G. He's got an album coming in August. Hint, hint.
Oh,
you know, we got something shaking on that.
Okay.
You know, that album's instantly gonna go crazy. I'm happy for it. And the rule of thumb with the pricing is difficult now because you have so much access to other options.
Yeah.
And also the overhead is not a lot to make something. So you could go on YouTube. So the pricing is down to credibility. You know, back then I couldn't sell this beat for $50.
But now you can sell them for way more.
My leases right now on this date, $300 to $500.
Yeah.
And my exclusives are anywhere from $10 to $20K.
That's dope.
Now y'all ask why that much? Well, I'll break it down to you.
Yeah.
When it comes to the masters, whoever paid for the session owns the masters, but a major label is paying for these sessions for these major artists. So you're not just buying a beat to rap on like you're able to do.
Yeah.
You're buying a license of intellectual property that you are then able to license in perpetuity, as in for life, which means that
business.
It is going to, there's more opportunities than you think. It's not just a song. You could get synchronization rights to put in TV shows and movies.
You're buying something that you can make money off.
It's a house.
A lot of people are like locally, they're thinking, oh damn, that's a lot of money. But it's because you're probably looking at it to make a song for your friends.
They're putting their doubts on me.
Yeah.
I was in Who's Next, man. I love Who's Next.
My
I love
people.
Omar.
Yeah.
I love everybody in there, man.
Yeah, that's my people.
Yeah, and I was sitting there getting a cut. Omar was there. You know, this guy walks in. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" How much for a beat? I'm getting lined up.
Yeah.
Omar's
that's the wrong
talking.
place to be questioned.
Omar's
like
gonna be
that.
lining me up. 300 for the lease. The guy goes, 300 for a beat. This is a few months, a year ago.
And that's a lease.
He said, good luck with your career. That's all I could say. And I started laughing. I said, you know, man, yeah, I just started making beats, man.
Yeah, that's what you got them off.
But truth is, if they don't know what the ROI is on their end, that's their problem. But again, egos.
Yeah.
Because you could have a guy who get money in another department come to the music business and feel like they're being sunned, man. They feel offended. But truth is, man, if you can't afford it, figure it out.
Yeah,
like
that's
if you have a power of negotiating, let's put it like this. Let's take Frost, man. Shout out to Frost.
Frost.
Frost got the events going on, got do.
That's my dude.
If I know he's got somebody coming in for an event and they could stop by the studio to cut a record, you don't think I'm going to tip Buddy off on the publishing? You don't think I'll give him a couple dollars to hold it? Business. So just because you can't pay for this beat don't mean you can't make something shake in your department. So, you know?
He's already saying we got a 2-minute warning. Yo, this conversation, we're going to do part 2 eventually. Yeah. But I know we're going to end up doing part 2. Yeah. You're at, let's say, you went here, you're here. Yeah. We're going to do the next part when you're here.
Yeah.
All right? Because I know where you're going, bro. I know where you're headed. Yeah. Real quick, before we go, you don't smoke, right?
Not casually, no.
Not casually?
Go to sleep.
So, to go to sleep. 1 minute. All right, bro. This one keeps you. I'm going to do the outro on this one. Hey, I appreciate you. Where can they find you real quick online?
You can find my Instagram, Avery On The Beat. You can Google me, Avery On The Beat.
Yeah, this
you
guy,
can,
you
can
look
at my...
you can Google me, that's it. So
you
rap.
can go
talking about platinum producer here, bro.
Yeah, man.
Right?
If you don't know, my resume includes people like Soulja Boy, Sean Kingston, Chief Keef, Go Yayo, Famous Dex, Coil Ray, Glasses Malone from Cash Money, Project Pat of 3-6 Mafia.
Mass Double from Holyoke.
Mass Double. We got Old Demeanor. We got Filth Town. We got everybody, man.
Yo,
come on,
That's the
man.
truth, man.
You know?
If you're looking for him, this is him right here. This is him right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yo, estamos activos. This was a great conversation. I'm like, I'm going home right now. We're like, phew, I'm hitting the studio. Nah, it's inspirational to see, young people like this. I want to say, like, following their dreams or what they're here for, and not being set back by society. We talked about that a little bit. We here at Dazed Cannabis, and right now, we just smoked before and smoke after the podcast. So, I'm definitely smoking right after. And you follow me, man. Calidad. I'm working on the English podcast now, so I hope you guys enjoy this. And my English was very well,
Yeah,
it
actually was.
It was good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But also, watch my Spanish ones. Memin Calidad. Estamos aquí activo. Follow me. This is the Pink Couch Podcast. Fumo antes y después del podcast. Dazed Cannabis, 5-6 de la Jackson Street, Holyoke Ma, 413. Sajoli en la casa.